Okay, in this example, we have a quotient, so we're going to need to use our quotient rule. We have a division problem. And we also have that 6x plus 4, or 6x plus 11 to the fourth in the bottom there, which is a composite function. So we will have to use the chain rule. So kind of like we did in the last example, I'm going to focus first on the derivative of that 6x plus 11 to the fourth. 6x plus 11 to the fourth. So recognize again my composite function. So u is the inside part, 6x plus 11. F is u to the fourth. F is u to the fourth. Now this time, rather than write it in terms of u, actually I did still do it in terms of u here. I did derivative of f, which is 4u cubed, and times the derivative of 6x plus 11, which is 6. I was confusing myself with the video coming up where I leave a little bit more detail out, but here I did write it out. 4u cubed times 6. And then we can plug in what u is. Well, 4 and 6 is 24. U is 6x plus 11. That's now raised to the third power. So here we're going to be using our quotient rule. The quotient rule says it's the bottom function. This time I'm going to write that out, 6x plus 11 to the fourth, times the derivative of the top, the derivative of x squared minus 8, which would be 2x. So this time I didn't write derivative like I did in the example before. So cutting down a little because these problems are long enough as it is. And that's why I really encourage you to practice those concepts before leading into this. And then that'll be minus the top function, x squared minus 8, times the derivative of the bottom, which is what we already found. That's 24 6x plus 11 to the third power. And that's all going to be over the bottom function raised to the second power. When you take something to the fourth power to the second power, you get that stuff to the eighth power. So at this point, we now want to look to simplify. So we look to factoring out a common factor, but the common factor we're looking for is to simplify, not just to kind of do a common factor, because you could look at that and say, I have a 2 and a 24, so I could pull out a 2. Yeah, I could, but that doesn't really help me as far as simplifying. But I have that quantity, 6x plus 11 to the fourth and 6x plus 11 to the third, that I can pull out of both. And so that I am going to focus on. And so smallest power would be 6x plus 11 to the third power. Now, when we take that out, the first part there, the 6x plus 11 to the fourth times 2x, well, we've taken away 4 of them, so we only have 1 left to go along with our 2x. So we'll have 2x times 6x plus 11. And then in the second part, we had 3 of those, and they're all gone. We took them all out. So we're just going to have minus 24 times x squared minus 8. And that'll all be over our 6x plus 11 to the 8th power. 6x plus 11 to the 8th power. Okay, now at this point, we say to ourselves, well, hey, look, I have a 6x plus 11 to the 3 that I took out, and a 6x plus 11 to the 8th. So let's go ahead and cancel out 3 of those from the top with 3 from the bottom. That'll leave us with a 6x plus 11 to the 5th power. And now, before I put it all back together, I'm going to go ahead and do some simplifying here. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of simplifying. So 2x times 6x would give me my 12x squared. 2x times 11 will give me my 22x. Right, just multiplying that out. Minus 24 and x squared will give me minus 24x squared. Minus 24 and a minus 8 will give me my plus 192. So all I'm doing here is taking that piece over here in the top here, right, and I'm simplifying that. So rather than rewriting the whole problem, I'm just working that out. And then we do have a few like terms there with the 12x squared and the minus 24x squared. So we can go ahead and simplify those. And we get minus 12x squared plus 22x plus 192. Okay? So that's equal to that. Okay, and now that's my numerator, so we write that down. And then that's all going to be over my denominator. That's all going to be over my denominator. Negative 12x squared plus 22x plus 192 all over 6x plus 11 raised to the 5th power. And so that is our derivative. In the next video, we're actually going to take the same function we just had, and we're going to say, hey, what about its second derivative? Remember, to do the derivative, we need to take the derivative of the derivative. So we're actually going to be differentiating this function right here. Okay, but that'll be in the next video.